What's going on, my dollar bills? D-Money here, and today I'm going to be ranking all the Spider-Man movies from my favorite to least favorite. For this video, I am not going to be including Civil War as a Spider-Man movie, even though it's the first movie that we get to see the MCU Spider-Man in, and I just want to focus on the Spider-Man based movies where it's mainly about him. I also, throughout this video, want all of you to remember that you may have different opinions. This is just what I personally think. You can have a different favorite and a different least favorite, and it could be for different reasons, and it's all fine, but just remember that. For number 6, it is Spider-Man 3 from the Sam Raimi series. So, I think we can all agree that this movie had its ups and downs, and even though it had some of my favorite villains in it, like Venom and Sandman, a lot of people say it was filled with too many villains. I don't really think that's the case for any movie. I feel like as long as the story stays interesting and doesn't lose the audience, it doesn't matter how many characters it has. But this movie with the emo Spider-Man and the story, it wasn't that good, and I feel like could have been better. And it basically did kill the Sam Raimi Spider-Man whole lineup. So that's why it is at number 6 on this list. Number 5 is Spider-Man 2 from the Sam Raimi lineup. The reason why this one is so low on the list is because I'm not a big fan of how Spider-Man was losing his powers. It's just he was losing them because he was in love. That scientifically, that doesn't really explain anything. Maybe it was because that's the feelings that he felt when he got bitten by the spider, and it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, why? And then also, the villain Doc Ock, it was pretty cool to see him. I really liked his robotic octopus arms, but I feel like there could have been something better about the movie. Like, basically what I'm getting at for the second movie is I feel like they should have gone a different route. Sure, they wanted to do the Spider-Man No More, but they also want to do Doc Ock mixed with picking up with how Harry Osborn is feeling, but it all doesn't quite work together, I feel like. And also with the way they wrote it, just the fact of how Spider-Man loses his powers is the reason why it's so low on this list. Number 4 on this list is the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man film. Now, you're probably thinking, why are all 3 of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man films at the bottom of the list? Well, it's just that they're good, but I personally feel like all the other films are better in their own ways. But the reason why the first one is number 4 is because I'm not a fan of organic web shooters. I find them a little gross, and they don't really show off how smart Peter Parker is. Because originally Spider-Man built his own web shooters because he's a science geek nerd. So I feel like they took that part of his character away, and I'm glad for the last 3 movies they gave Spider-Man, or Peter Parker, that thing about his character. But there were certain moments in the movie that I did not like. Like, I did not like how in probably halfway through the movie, Peter graduates high school. Sure, they had to do something because the characters are adults. In the movie, there is also a lot of editing mistakes where a lot of them have been exploited on YouTube, and that's where I found them. Yeah, I feel like there's some mistakes in the movie about the characters, and the actors and a little bit of the story that should be improved. And also, I'm not a fan of how the Green Goblin looked. Yes, I liked his glider, but I don't like the armor that he wore. If anything, it should have been a latex mask. For number 3, it is The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Now, this one was pretty tough. I'm sad to say it is at number 3 because I love the movie so much, and sure, there's a lot wrong with it, and a lot of people said that it went along the lines of Spider-Man 3 because of how many villains were in it, and I feel like, in a way, they sort of went a little too much with the villains. Basically, with Rhino at the end, Rhino should have had more story to him instead of, like, a cameo, really. And the Green Goblin, it fit in, but in a way, he also should have looked different to me. And Electro, a lot of people didn't like how he was the pure energy Electro, but that's my favorite look of him, and I really enjoyed it. And the Gwen Stacy death scene, that in theaters, it probably, the first 3 times I cried during that scene. It's so emotional. It makes me really feel for that character because we got to know her and now she's been taken away from us and we'll never see her again. Like, I really felt for Peter there. Like, he lost the woman he loved. I lost an actor that I enjoyed watching. For number 2, it is The Amazing Spider-Man 1. Now, the reason why this one beat all the others before it, it's because seeing the new Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield, the new suit a lot of people didn't like, but I enjoyed it. It was a good fresh start. Amazing Spider-Man just brought everything back to me. Like, I had went from not seeing anything from Spider-Man after Spider-Man 3, but then Iron Man started, like, coming up, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be into Iron Man now. Like, he is really cool. But then the Amazing Spider-Man showed up, and I was like, I remember everything why I loved Spider-Man. And he just, Andrew Garfield portrayed him so well as a high schooler, and unfortunately he was fired by Sony, and also in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 he graduated high school, which, like I said in the Spider-Man 1 portion of this video, I did not like. I feel like he should always be a high schooler until he actually graduates, like, at a decent time. But, so the reason why, basically, The Amazing Spider-Man is number 2 on this list is because of nostalgic reasons. He really brought the character back into fame, and he did a really good job at portraying Spider-Man. He did a good job with that. He delivered his lines perfectly when he was in and out of costume, but if you go back into, like, Spider-Man 1 or Spider-Man 2, you could tell that Tobey Maguire didn't really deliver his lines in a joking manner like he should have. The Amazing Spider-Man, it really got me into cosplaying too. So without that movie and the second one, I don't think I would have started cosplaying as Spider-Man until maybe Civil War or Homecoming. Lastly, for number 1, obviously, it's the last movie there is, so SpiderMan Homecoming. A lot of people did not like it. Now, I really don't see why. Maybe it's because of how the suit is, maybe, but then again, it was made by Tony Stark, so you have to understand, like, he takes precautions. He doesn't make just regular spandex. He's got to throw in gadgets and gizmos in there. I really like how Tom Holland portrayed Spider-Man. Tom Holland, I'm gonna have to say, is the best Spider-Man actor, because in a way, he is Spider-Man. He delivers the jokes the best. He was trained as a dancer, and he was a gymnast, so he's got the perfect body type. He's 20 years old. That's the closest any actor's been, and he's the most childish out of all of them, so of course he's gonna be more relatable to the character. He also brings back some of the nostalgia to the character. He really shows how Spider-Man thinks he can do everything Iron Man can do. He can be worthy of being an Avenger, but he also has a lot to learn because he is just a kid. But he's also so special, and he really shows us how he knows how special he is, and that he's more than just a student. He's a brilliant kid that can do extraordinary things. I would also say that the Homecoming suit is the closest we've gotten to comic book accurate since the Amazing Spider-Man 2. And I'm mainly saying that because of the moving eyes, the back spider, and sort of the look. This Amazing Spider-Man 2 style was there, but just because of the front and back logo, that, and the web shooters too, that's the main reason why it was not quite accurate. But with the new one, sure, there's a different style to it, but it's pretty close, and I would say the most accurate. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Make sure to rate, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more Spider-Man and more great videos to come. And keep being awesome. Tell me down in the comments below, what is your favorite Spider-Man movie?